When we bought our first home, my husband's brother laughed. I deserve a house like this, not you. He turned to my husband and said, she wouldn't have this without you. I stayed quiet until I handed him the mortgage papers. Actually, the house is in my name only. His jaw dropped as he realized the truth. Buying our first home was supposed to be a happy moment. My husband, Nate, and I had spent years saving. We skipped vacations, ate at home, and drove our old cars into the ground. Every dollar counted because we had a goal to own a house before we turned 35. And we finally did it. A beautiful 3-bedroom house just outside of Austin, Texas. Nothing extravagant, but perfect for us. It had a big yard for our dog, a kitchen with space for us to cook together, and a cozy living room where we could binge our favorite shows. The day we moved in, we invited close family over to celebrate. His parents were happy for us. My parents were proud. And then there was Derek, Nate's older brother. Derek wasn't like us. He lived paycheck to paycheck, blowing his money on expensive shoes, watches, and bar tabs. He leased cars he couldn't afford and took out loans for vacations. Meanwhile, we were stuffing money into our savings account, living off homemade pasta, and wearing the same clothes for years. So, when Derek walked into our new home, his reaction was predictable. He looked around, scoffed, and muttered under his breath, I deserve a house like this, not you. I pretended not to hear him, but then he turned to Nate and smirked. She wouldn't have this without you, man. I didn't say anything. I just smiled and walked to the kitchen. I grabbed the mortgage folder from the counter, walked back, and handed it to him. Actually, the house is in my name only, I said, still smiling. Derek blinked. Then he frowned. He flipped through the papers like he thought he'd find some mistake. Wait, what? I bought this house, I said, enjoying the confusion on his face. Nate and I saved together, but the mortgage? The approval? The credit? All mine. Silence. Derek looked at Nate, like he was waiting for him to say something, anything, that would make this make sense. Nate just shrugged. She has better credit than me. It made more sense. Derek's face turned red. He looked like he wanted to argue, but what could he say? The proof was right there in his hands. Then came the anger. That's not fair, he snapped. Nate earns more than you. Why the hell would they approve you? I kept my voice calm. Because I actually manage my money. Derek was fuming. He tried to play it off with a fake laugh, but it came out forced. Man, that's crazy. A guy like me should have a house like this. Not, he trailed off, but I knew what he wanted to say. Not you. Not a woman. Not someone who never partied, never wasted money, never chased after expensive crap just to impress people. Nate sighed, rubbing his temples. Derek, it's not a competition. But Derek wasn't listening. He was too busy pacing around the living room, looking at the walls, the furniture, the space. Then he turned back to me, eyes narrowed. You got lucky. Oh, lucky. I had worked 2 jobs while finishing college. I had said no to every impulse purchase. I had spent years researching homeownership, investments, credit scores, and how to actually qualify for a mortgage. But sure, let's call it luck. I should have a house like this, Derek muttered again. It's not right. I didn't bother responding. There was nothing to say. Derek had made his choices, and so had we. The difference was, our choices had led to a house. His had led to, well, nothing. I thought that was the end of it. I thought Derek would stew in his bitterness, maybe rant about it later to his buddies at the bar, but ultimately move on. I was wrong. A week later, he called Nate. Listen, man, I was thinking, since she bought the house in her name, she could put me on the title too. I almost dropped my coffee. What? Nate asked, laughing. I mean, it's not like I'd live there or anything, Derek continued. But it would help my credit, you know? And maybe later, if I needed a place to stay, I could crash for a bit. Family helps family, right? Oh, my God. This grown man, who had nothing to do with our house, who had laughed when we bought it, was now asking to be put on the deed? Nate put the call on speaker so I could hear every word. Derek, I said, why would I ever put your name on my house? Derek scoffed. Because we're family. I laughed. No, absolutely not. Come on, it's not a big deal. I wouldn't be living there, it's just for paperwork. I'd even pay you rent if I ever moved in. You mean if you ever moved in, I corrected. Which we both know would turn into when. Derek sighed, like I was being unreasonable. You're seriously saying no? Just like that? Yes, just like that. And I hung up. Derek lost it. He started calling Nate nonstop. When that didn't work, he called their mom. 2 days later, Nate's mom called us. Sweetheart, she said in her concerned parent voice. Couldn't you just let Derek stay for a little while? Just until he gets back on his feet. There it was. The real reason he wanted his name on our house. You mean the same little while he stayed at your place for 2 years rent-free? I asked. Silence. Well, that was different. No, it wasn't. She tried a few more arguments. Family should help family. He's just in a rough patch. You have so much space. I didn't budge. When begging didn't work, Derek switched to outright lying. He told people that I had manipulated Nate into putting everything in my name. That I was controlling. That I forced him to give up ownership. It didn't work. Our friends knew the truth. Nate shut down every rumor before it could spread. But Derek wasn't done. A few months later, Derek hit rock bottom. The debts caught up to him. The car he couldn't afford got repossessed. His landlord threatened eviction. And then, the final text. Hey, so, things are kinda rough. Can I crash at your place for a few weeks? I showed it to Nate. We both knew what a few weeks really meant. We crafted the perfect response. Hey, Derek. Sorry to hear that. We recommend looking at local rental assistance programs. Hope things get better soon. Derek didn't take the rejection well. He blew up our phones with messages. Some were guilt trips. I'd do it for you. No, he wouldn't. Some were pure rage. You're selfish. You think you're better than me just because you got lucky. When we didn't respond, he switched tactics. He started telling people that I had tricked Nate into putting the house in my name, that I was controlling the money, and that Nate was just too nice to stand up to me. The first time I heard it, I laughed. But then, a mutual friend asked Nate if he was okay. Dude, is she like, forcing you to do things? That pissed me off. I grabbed Nate's phone and called Derek. He picked up after one ring. So now I'm controlling? I said before he could speak. Derek sighed, already annoyed. Look, I just said what's obvious. You're the one who made him put everything in your name. Made him? I cut him off. Derek, do you even hear yourself? What power do you think I have? Mind control. I mean, it's just weird, okay? Most guys handle the money, not their wives. And there it was. I let out a slow breath. You're mad that I have something you don't. That's all this is. Derek laughed bitterly. Oh, get over yourself. You act like you're some financial genius. You just got lucky Nate makes good money. I smiled. And yet, here you are. Broke. Homeless. Begging me for a place to stay. Silence. Then he hung up. But he wasn't done. A week later, Nate and I were out grocery shopping. When we got back, something felt off. The front door was locked, but the back door? Unlocked. Nate walked inside first. Then he froze. What the hell? Derek was in our living room. Feet up on our coffee table. A beer from our fridge in his hand. The audacity of this man was unreal. Oh hey, he said casually. I was gonna text you. Hope you don't mind, I let myself in. I was stunned. Let yourself in? I echoed. With what? We changed the locks when we moved in. Derek grinned. Mom still had a copy of Nate's old key. She gave it to me. I felt my blood pressure skyrocket. Get out. Derek laughed. Relax. I was just checking out the place. I figured you guys wouldn't mind me crashing here for a few days. Nate stepped forward, his voice deadly calm. Derek, you have exactly 1 minute to get out before I call the cops. Derek scoffed. Come on, man. You wouldn't call the cops on your own brother. I pulled out my phone. Try me. For the first time, Derek hesitated. He looked at Nate, waiting for him to do something, say something. But Nate just folded his arms. She said get out. Derek scowled. You're a goddamn idiot, Nate. She's turning you against your own family. Then, he grabbed his beer, chugged the rest of it, and stormed out. I locked the door behind him. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. 3 days later, I got a notification from my bank. A credit card I didn't recognize. A charge for $1,200. My stomach dropped. I knew exactly who it was. I called the bank immediately. Ma'am, this card was opened under your name 2 days ago. The charges were made online. Derek. It had to be Derek. But how? Then I remembered. He had gone through my mortgage papers. My personal information had been on them. I clenched my fists. I didn't open that card. That's fraud. The bank rep paused. Would you like to report it to the authorities? I took a deep breath. Yes. Derek had crossed a line he couldn't come back from. And this time, he was going to pay for it. I didn't tell Nate right away. I wanted all the details first. The fraud department moved quickly, freezing the account before any more charges could be made. Then they confirmed what I already knew. The address on the new credit card? Derek's. The IP address used to sign up? Also Derek's. I was fuming. But the real cherry on top? He had used the card to buy a down payment on a luxury watch. Not rent. Not food. A damn watch. That's when I told Nate. He was quiet for a moment, just breathing through his nose. Then he picked up his phone. I'm done with him, he said as he dialed. First, he called the bank and confirmed we were pressing charges. Then, he called his mother. She answered on speaker. Oh, hi sweetheart. How's mom? Did you give Derek my wife's personal information? Silence. Then what? No, of course not. Then why did he just open a credit card in her name? She gasped like this was shocking news. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. I rolled my eyes. Well, he's about to have a huge problem because I just filed a police report. Her voice went from shocked to panicked. Oh, honey, that's not necessary. He made a mistake, that's all. You don't need to get the police involved. I almost laughed. Oh, I absolutely do. That's when the real begging started. Come on, don't do this to him. He's already going through so much. Oh, I know, I said dryly. That's why I'm adding this to the list. Nate had had enough. Mom, stop. He stole from us. We're not letting it go. Then he hung up. A few days later, we got a call from the police. They had Derek in custody. Apparently, the idiot had tried to use the stolen card again, this time at the same store where he bought the watch. A fraud alert was already out, so when the cashier ran his purchase, it flagged him. They called the cops and Derek got arrested on the spot. It should have ended there. But Derek had one last, desperate move. From jail, he called Nate. I saw Nate's face when he picked up. Derek, bro, you gotta bail me out. Please. I swear I didn't mean for it to go this far. I leaned in, whispering. Put him on speaker. Nate did. You stole from my wife, Derek. Why the hell would I help you? Derek groaned. I messed up, okay? But you can fix this. Just tell them it was a misunderstanding. Family helps family, man. I grabbed the phone. You weren't saying that when you broke into our house. Or when you told people I was controlling. Or when you committed fraud in my name. Derek's voice turned nasty. Oh, get off your high horse. You got your precious house, what more do you want? I smiled. I want you to suffer the consequences of your own damn actions. Then I hung up. A month later, Derek was still in jail. His trial was set, and he was facing serious charges. Meanwhile, Nate's parents were still in denial. Then, out of nowhere, we got a call. Nate's grandfather had passed away. And in his will, he left a massive inheritance. But here's the kicker, he left it all to Nate. Not a dime to Derek. Nate was stunned. He hadn't even expected anything. But then his mother called, furious. This isn't fair. Your grandfather must have made a mistake. Nate stayed quiet for a second. Then he said, no, Mom. He knew exactly what he was doing. Derek didn't know yet. And I couldn't wait for him to find out. Derek finally got out of jail after 2 months. Their parents bailed him out, but not before he lost his job, his apartment, and, judging by his attitude, whatever shred of dignity he had left. He didn't contact us immediately, but we knew it was only a matter of time. And sure enough, the moment he found out about the inheritance, he showed up. Uninvited. It was a Sunday afternoon. Nate and I were enjoying coffee on our back patio when we heard pounding at the front door. I knew before I even opened it. Derek stood there, looking disheveled and furious. Where is he? He snapped. Nate came up behind me. What do you want, Derek? Derek's fists clenched. You know exactly what I want. He stormed inside, without permission, of course, and threw his arms out. So, when were you gonna tell me? When were you gonna let me know that Grandpa left you all that money? Nate sighed. It wasn't a secret, Derek. You were just in jail when it happened. Derek flinched at that. Yeah, well, whose fault is that? Yours. His jaw tightened, but he kept going. You don't even need it, man. You have a house, you have money, you have her controlling everything. He threw a glare my way. I smiled sweetly. Still mad my name is the only one on the deed? He ignored me. You know this isn't right. Grandpa wouldn't have wanted this. He must have been confused or something. You should split it with me, Nate laughed. Actually laughed. You really think Grandpa was confused? Derek, he was the smartest person in our family. If he left me everything, it's because he wanted to. Derek's face turned red. That's not fair. I was his grandson too. I should get something. I crossed my arms. Why? So you can blow it on another watch? Another car you can't afford? Another vacation while you're drowning in debt? Derek's eyes flashed. Stay out of this. Nate stepped forward. No, she's my wife. And you need to hear this, you don't deserve anything. Derek's whole body stiffened. Excuse me? Grandpa saw how you lived. He saw how you treated people. You never helped Mom and Dad with anything. You never took care of anyone but yourself. He knew you'd waste whatever he left you. Derek shook his head, as if trying to push the words out of his ears. Bullshit. It's the truth, I said. And you hate it. Silence. Then Derek pointed a shaking finger at me. She did this. She turned you against me. Nate didn't even flinch. No, Derek. You did this. You ruined your own life, and now you want to make it our fault. Derek was breathing hard, his hands shaking. His mind was working, trying to figure out his next move. Then, like the coward he was, he switched tactics. His face crumpled. Come on, man. I'm your brother. His voice broke, just a little. I've got nothing. I just need a little help. Just some of the money. That's all I'm asking. Nate's face didn't soften. You stole from us. You lied about us. You broke into our home. You tried to ruin my marriage. And now you want me to give you money. Derek swallowed. Yes. Get out. Derek's lip curled. You're making a mistake. Nate tilted his head. No. You made mistakes. I'm just finally done cleaning them up. I opened the front door. Goodbye, Derek. For a second, he didn't move. He was still hoping for a miracle. Then, without another word, he turned and walked out. We shut the door. And just like that, it was over. Derek didn't try to contact us again. Not directly, anyway. We heard through the grapevine that he was couch surfing, burning through whatever scraps of goodwill he had left. He tried to guilt-trip their parents into giving him money, but they were tapped out after paying his bail. Then, the real kicker, he moved in with some friends from high school. Guys who were just like him. No savings, no jobs, no responsibility. It didn't last. 3 months later, we found out he got kicked out. And where did he end up? Back with his parents. The same house he had mocked us for outgrowing. The same people he had used for years. And here's the best part, they made him get a job. For the first time in his life, he had to wake up early. He had to budget. He had to do something other than complain. I won't pretend he magically became a better person. He's still Derek. But for the first time, he's learning what real life feels like. And as for us, we're happy. Our house is ours. Our finances are secure. And our lives are peaceful. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just watching karma do its thing.